Should the soldiers not have opened fire? Did they have permission to open fire? Is there any agreement in the past that actually holds them back, General Ahluwalia, from opening fire?
Yeah, Rahul, thank you. First of all, let me just bring out to you that in an operational area, every soldier would always carry his weapon and his ammunition along with him. Line of actual control is no exception. But there are certain times when the soldiers do not carry a weapon with them. For example, border personal meetings that take place at Chushul and Moldo, the officers and the men go in ceremonial dress. They do not carry any weapons. But while I was the corps commander in Ladakh region in 2008-2009, I am very certain that all our troops carried weapons on patrolling, long-range patrolling, every time with them. So there is no doubt that our soldiers are required to carry weapons with them. But point with China is that we have agreements with them in 1996 called the Confidence Building Measures, and 2003, 2012, 2013. And I want to quote to you what actually is the latest one of October 2013. It says neither side will use its military capabilities against the other side, and respective military strength shall not be used to attack. And one of the very prominent portion of these agreements has been to have maximum self-restraint. Not to use
does that hold when you're under attack, General Ahluwalia? Because, of course, what you're saying makes perfect sense because those are the border agreements. But when you're under such a brutal attack, do these agreements hold? And do you think it's because of these agreements that the Indian Army, despite being in the face of brutal assault, didn't open fire against the Chinese?
I will like to say that when such kind of a violent scuffle takes place by a particular party which has breached the trust of the other party, because we have actually worked on a trust. That means on a trust that we said that we will not use our weapons. They carry the weapons slung on the backside. When such kind of activity takes place, yes, it will be quite possible to use weapons for self-protection.
Now, Pawan Khera, I think at some level everyone needs to reflect on who's the enemy here. It's very easy for Rahul Gandhi to wake up every morning, take a slingshot at the Prime Minister, but is the real enemy not China in this case? Should we not be first figuring out how to defang the dragon, send him back home, give him a befitting reply? If you keep taking these pot shots every morning, does it not enhance the audience costs? The audience costs being, just the kind of expectation the public has. And is that really the right approach? Can we not put politics at this time on pause just for a while when the actual enemy is across the line of actual control?
Rahul, if the objective is to keep denying that there's been no intrusion, because the enemy has understood your vulnerability. Your vulnerability is public perception. Your vulnerability is I'm a strong man who's absolutely sure about national security. So to protect the public perception, Modi ji and his ecosystem keeps denying. The nation doesn't get to know. This is LAC and not LOC. We don't know exactly what's happening there. Thanks to your maps, brilliant maps, that now we've got to know the exact scenario there. Now, when Atalji was seeking answers in the middle of action, October 1962, 26th October, he goes to Jawaharlal Nehru ji, seeks a special session of parliament. Nehru ji agrees, and 8th of November, the special session of parliament takes place. A lot of MPs, including L.M. Singhvi, who was an independent MP from Rajasthan, come to Nehru ji and say, Nehru ji, aap isko secret rakhiye, in camera, isko coverage nahi hona chahiye. Nehru ji says, no, the nation has a right to know. Let them attack me. They have a right to attack me. They have a right to question me, and I should give the answers and let the country get to know. Was Atalji taking pot shots on Nehru ji?
Okay, or so let Rajiv Pratap Radi respond to this. And this is a perception across the strategic circle that the Prime Minister may be a victim of his own image, because you've taken this very muscular 56 inch ki chhati kind of position. Therefore, if there is an intrusion, if there is a confrontation, instead of accepting and being upfront with the public about what the situation on the ground is, you want to brush it under the carpet, or at least not admit it publicly till the time the situation escalates and there is no option but to accept what's happened, because you don't want to accept that on your watch something wrong could happen. How do you respond to Rahul Gandhi and Pawan Khera? Rajiv Pratap Rudy from the BJP.
So it's absolutely what you say, Rahul, an excellent explanation of good analysis of what is happening there, and that's a good job done. I would not doubt the authenticity because there is no one who has confronted you on that issue, and I'm sure there are expert who has explained the entire maps, and there would be many more in the armed forces to cross-check with that. So that's an issue which I would not take up at all, and that's a good job done. But another point which you said, that the politicians are taking pot shots. Absolutely no one should take a pot shot on anyone. Even Pawan Khera, I appreciate what he said. My only submission is, when a national leader of a national party who has had a stint, they have had a stint to rule the country for the last 50 years, make an incorrect statement. And that incorrect statement by Rahul Gandhi was that you are sending Indian soldiers to the borders without weapons. And as General Vijay explained, and many more people have explained, that it was the beginning was the 1996 treaty where you have to restrain yourself, you do not have to carry weapons. And I'm not ready to believe that if our soldiers were carrying weapons, and if what was happening, the Chinese side or the Indian side would have waited and not used their weapons. So it's a fact that no side was carrying weapons. So this is an instigation and analysis which goes beyond. So the other aspect which you are talking is, which I mentioned, was factually incorrect, and which possibly how Mr. Sambit Patra said is a different issue. But what he pointed out when Mr. Rahul Gandhi wanted to do politics, trying to tell the nation that the Indian soldiers were not carrying weapons, which was incorrect, and I don't want to add more words to it. So this is, and when you talk about intrusion has taken place, has not taken place, territory has been captured, not captured. I have received no formal communication, unless if someone from the China, from the Congress party has a direct link in China where they have informed that we have ceded this point. That would be, but there is no official confirmation.
So let me put that question around intrusion.
He quoted about Parliament
to Colonel Ajay Shukla, who.
I may talk.
Okay, go on. I'll give you 30 seconds to complete. Go ahead, Mr. Rudy.
No. When you talk about Parliament, I think any government of the day, whether it is Congress government or BJP government, and if we have carried a legacy all around for the last 65 years, what we see China is not which happened yesterday. It has been happening for years. And there have been earlier situations in 2013, 2008, and so forth and so on. And India has been facing it, and the Indian armed forces have been doing extremely well. So what I want to say, it's a legacy which has come down. If I start asking Mr. Khera, what happened between 52 and 60 when 35,000 square kilometers of Aksai Chin was taken over by China? Nehru said in Parliament that not a blade of grass grows. I don't want to get into that. It's a legacy, and we have faith in the Prime Minister.
Okay.
One aspect, last sentence. Yeah, please. It's okay. Yeah.
So